Hey, what's up, everybody? I figured I'd get a chance to show my review of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And as you can tell by the shirt, I figured it's good to represent. And of course, one of the biggest challenges of doing the Black Panther Wakanda Forever was like, how can you do, the Wakanda, Forever sequel, without Chadwick Boseman, who of course, sadly passed away, from cancer a couple years ago. And I will say the Wakanda Black Panther Forever does a good job of honoring Chadwick Boseman and the T'Challa character. And people wonder, like, how does the film write him out? And not to give too much away, but the character passes away in the beginning of the film from an undisclosed illness, even though his sister Shuri tries to do her best to save her brother, but unfortunately, due to the burning of the black herbs, which of course Killmonger, aka T'Challa's cousin from the first film, burned when he became the king. Unfortunately, it made that impossible to do so. So, of course, Shuri, I guess an attempt tries to hide her grief by working on technology as her own coping mechanism dealing with her brother's death. And of course, Queen Ramonda, but played once again by Angela Bassett, is also channeling her grief of over losing her son, and of course it brings back the characters of Koi, played by Danny Guerrero from The Walking Dead, frame, and of course T'Challa's lover Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o, also returns, and Winston Duke also returns as M'Baku, another fellow, tribe leader, and Martin Freeman also comes back as Everett Ross, an ally. And how could I say, in terms of the story itself, I mean, throughout the film you could kind of feel like the absence of T'Challa's character, and you kind of like wonder what the story could have been, had he not passed away, but like I said, considering that when they were doing the sequel pre-production at the time, that's when he passed. So I guess they wanted to try to find a way to continue the story while honoring his passing, and the film does a good job of exploring grief and how it affects those closest to him. And then of course it also deals with, like, the fall of Wakanda being exposed to the world, and the vibranium, which of course Ramonda doesn't want to give it away, because figuring in the wrong hands it could be used as a weapon. It also feels with a fellow tribe called the Tahokans, who are like a group of, it's like a tribe that lives underwater. And the new threat this time around is Nemo, who, I mean, how would I say it? I mean, he's not a bad adversary in the sense that his backstory kind of ties into some like history, particularly like cruelty towards like Native Americans and stuff. But quite honestly, Killmonger was a more compelling adversary of sorts. And of course, the visuals are pretty well done, and the music is very good, and cinematography is good, even though the underwater aspect kind of felt a little bit too much like Aquaman and, I would say, Avatar, if that makes any particular sense. But I mean, overall, I would say Wakanda, Forever, like I said, is a decent sequel to Black Panther, even though I'll be honest that Black Panther had a more stronger story and a better, villain. And I would say the runtime's slightly bloated, but it's not as slow paced as I thought it was gonna be. But overall, I would say it was a good experience. And then you have like one of the other characters called Ironheart, which is introduced into this film, which it's kind of, in the comics, if I remember, is like a replacement for Iron Man, if my memory serves correctly. So that's that. So I would say for those that have seen the first Black Panther movie, I would see it, I guess, to see it out of curiosity. But I would say overall, the first movie had a much better story. But that's me. So All right, everyone. Thanks again, and I look forward to sharing more content again soon. Thanks again.